Now, we've been talking about infidelity in our relationships, and in our last segment, I talked about protecting your relationship from infidelity or developing an affair-proof marriage or intimate relationships. Now, today, I want to give you a few points a few tips on how you can actually do this. Number one, be honest about your emotions, your feelings, your needs. Usually, people are not going to go into an affair if there isn't anything that is going on. Normally, what you find, most of the times, people are going into an affair because of something that is lacking within the relationship. This has nothing to do with performance. It has nothing to do with whether it is the fault of the person who was cheated on. No, it has a lot to do with personal needs. So you have your own issues personally, and you have not been able to communicate effectively with your spouse. And so you find someone else who is willing to listen, who is there for you, who you feel more excited to be around, and you find yourself falling into that category of cheating. So it may start with emotional cheating, and then it moves on to physical cheating or even financial cheating. It can be a lot of things. It can grow into something. So it is important that, number one, you learn how to communicate your needs. Be honest with your spouse. If you're mad, don't go for days without talking to them, and then you find somebody at the office who tells you you don't look too good, what's going on. You open up, and then you open yourself up to the possibility of an affair. So learn, for you couples, to talk to one another. When you see that your partner is not well, it is important for you to reach out, because each one of you is 100% responsible for that relationship. So if one of you is not well, the other one has an obligation to check them out and see what is going on. And you, when your spouse reaches out to you, please stop saying that there is nothing wrong. Obviously, they can see something is wrong. So we want to be able to train ourselves, learn how to communicate honestly with your spouse. There is one practical thing that spouses can do that can help a lot. Have a lot of spouses I know, they have a date night. So then the one day of the week that they take 2 hours away from the kids and they go out and they spend some time together. Have an extra day that you call a bucket night. A bucket night for me is when you have issues that have been bugging you throughout the week, and you meet together and you agree that each one of you will say, what is it that I did this week that vexed you? What is it that I did this week that made you sad or angry or made you feel negatively? How did I disrespect you? How did I neglect you? What is the scorecard? As your wife, as your husband, how much did I score? And you can do a scaling question where you ask each other on a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being highest, how have I done this week as your wife or as your husband? Those are practical ways that you can do a checkup on your relationship. Don't wait. People are waiting for 6 months, for 5 months, for years before they come and they are talking about things that happened 2, 3 years ago, 5, 7, 8 years ago. And we can't do anything about those things. But if every week you sit together and you create that atmosphere where you are checking up on your relationship, then you will catch things before they get to go too far. That is number one. Number two, it is so important to celebrate your life. Celebrate one another. There is another part I think we talked about friendships. How we keep friendships, how we grow friendships. As married couples, we need the friendship because the friendship is what carries us through the hard times. And what we need to do is to learn how, think about the oldest friend that you've had. Hata mkikaa miaka ngapi, when you meet, it's like you pick up from where you left. So you want to develop a friendship with your spouse, and most of the times, by the time we meet each other, we are grown. So this is not a person you have known since you were a teenager. Most likely 95% of us, the people we are married to, we knew them for a maximum of 2 to 3 years before we got married to them, or even less. So the friendship has to be developed. And one of the ways to develop friendship is to spend a lot of quality time together. The quality time together in terms of recreation, in terms of shared things that you do together, in terms of socializing with each other. We need to get to know each other's friends. Introduce your spouse or your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your fiance. Introduce them to the people who are important to you, so that you can develop a closeness. And when I was talking about, when I mentioned that we need to celebrate one another, we need to know, be interested to know your spouse. Know what they like, know how much they feel, and what they feel when certain things happen to them. Know their history. Be interested to know what goes on in their minds. What are your deepest fears? If you had $1 million shillings, what would you do with it? Have these conversations where you are getting to know each other in a deeper way, and learn to celebrate one another. Be grateful for this person. Compliment them. Let them know that they are important people in your life. When they do things, even if it's their obligation, even if you are the wife, you are supposed to cook. No, as a husband, you need to let your wife know, hey, by the way, the food was good today. Thank you for the time you take to prepare the food, or whatever it is. If it's the husband, he always pays bills on time. Let him know that you're grateful about that. And then celebrate when they are at work. It is the saddest thing to see couples who are competitive with each other. They cannot celebrate the other person. So your wife has been promoted at work. You can't celebrate. That means you yourself, it is not your wife's problem. It is you who needs to take care of yourself. Why is it that I cannot celebrate my spouse? So it's important for us to realize that if we are going to affair-proof our marriages, we do need to really cherish and to celebrate and to admire our spouse. That's the only way we are going to do this.